Hey everybody, Andrew here from Pacific Coast Auto, taking a look at the results of last week's auction picks. Up first, the Nissan 180SX. This one went for just over Derek's guess, selling for $8,500. The Toyota Mark II didn't get nearly enough attention. It went unsold at $2,650. The Honda Accord Euro R did sell and went for a fair bit under Derek's guess. It sold for $4,000 even. The owner of the Lancer Evo Wagon must have a very high reserve price on it. This one was unsold even though it was bid up to $12,260. It looks like the Z31 Fairlady was a bit too rough for anyone to throw much of an offer at. It was unsold and only bid up to $900. The Mitsubishi Canter Wrecker was also unsold, even though it was bid up to $2,880. It seems like a decent offer for a truck in that shape with that many miles on it, but I guess the seller thinks it's worth more. The Toyota Tundra pickup did sell, going for $15,660. The Nissan Bluebird was another unsold car. The bidding for this one topped out at $91.90. And finally, the Jaguar Daimler Limo did sell. It went for $2,430. That's going to do it for last week's picks. Now here's Derek with this week's.
Hello everybody, this is Derek once again, showing you guys the vehicles from this week. They're coming up for auction in the next couple of days. So if you do want to bid on these, you can. And then next week we're going to show you how much that these ones sell for. And so we got an assortment of 10 vehicles, all sent in by you guys from the Facebooks. And you guys can go there if you want. It's facebook.com, and then just type in Pacific Coast Auto. You'll be able to find our Facebook page. Make sure that you hit the like button, and then you can see every Tuesday we post up a new posting, and then it says, hey, share your vehicles. Then you come over to this one here, pacificcoastauto.com, and auction.pacificcoastjdm.com, pardon me, and then you can search here. Now, we are picking no vehicles from USS because they don't like people sharing their cars for some reason. And so if you want to check just the ones that are not USS, I know some people were asking about this, click on the auctions one down here, and then you can pick, for example, all of Thursday, all of Friday, all of Saturday, and then just go ahead and deselect any of the USS ones that are on there. Okay, so let's jump into this. We got the first one here. The thumbnail was sent in by Sean William Bellamy, champion. Apparently he really likes Rust, or so says some of the people. I don't really know what's going on with that, but Bill Courtney keeps mentioning it. And anyways, so he sent in this guy here. Thumbnail because the S15 gets the clicks. That's the way that it works. People love these cars, and I don't blame them. They are one of the coolest looking cars available in Japan, and kind of the tail end of the best cars that Japan had to offer over the years. Anything from around the 1970s until the very end of the 1990s were the hot years for the Japanese cars. You can still get good cars from Japan, but they're not 20-25% better than everything else on the road like they used to be. Okay, so this one here comes from HAA Kobe, and Sean says sweet S15 with a few mods. And so looking at it, you can see a few mods. Funny thing about the rear spoiler, I'll mention in a sec there. But really good looks like a wide body kit on it. Full body kit, hood, carbon fiber front mount intercooler. This is a turbo model, you can tell because it says specifications R, or SpecR. And then the Spec S is the non-turbo version. SpecR comes with a 6-speed manual transmission. I have to say I'm not a huge fan of the way this transmission feels though. Something weird about it. Like the Skyline GTR's 6-speed feels different from this quite a bit while shifting it. Don't make that make you not want to purchase this car though. Even though I don't like the feeling of that, it's still a really good car. So 1999 Silvia SpecR, not importable to the USA, but pretty much all the other countries can, depending on your import rules. Auction grade R, interior B, exterior B, 114, 12 kilometers, 6-speed manual of course. So let's see what the seller wrote. It comes with Origin aero parts for front, side, and rear, D-Max wide fenders on the front and the rear, raised 17-inch wheels on there, and they're a really good version of it, because they have a lot of dish in there. Very cool. Trust exhaust, GT wing. Okay, aftermarket hood, extra gauges inside the car, xenon headlights, CST adjustable coilover suspension, trussed front mount intercooler, aftermarket tail lights, and various other aftermarket parts, so see yourself for details. It's been in an accident, and the front side member and front inner panels have been modified. I don't think that that's for the accident repair. I think that's to fit the front mount intercooler. Let's see, trunk floor and end panel have been dented. Core support has been dented. Left front pillar dented, right front inner panel dented. So it looks like the accident is medium to large size. I usually don't buy cars, or don't recommend buying cars with pillar damage, even though every one that we've bought seems to be okay. Sometimes looks are not everything, and there could be some sort of damage to that isn't visible, is going to mess up the way that the car feels or handles, with the chassis being twisted a little bit or something like that. It's really up to you though. I mean, you'll pay less for a car that's been in an accident. Something like this, probably pay about $1,000 less because of it. Headlights are cloudy, rear wiper's been removed, aftermarket air filter, and let's see. Ooh, a spin turn knob. If you guys don't know what that is, take a look at the shifter here. It has a little button here that you can push that in, and then the spring has been removed. And so when you push the button in here, you can actuate that without it locking. And then you pop it out with your thumb. That's why it's ridged on the edge there. And so it's, I guess it's common for people that like drifting. Steering wheel looks lovely, and so I guess that would be something that is more usable as a race steering wheel. Looks like it's wrapped in Alcantara, and so very grippy when you're wearing gloves. Not a lot of wear on them, even though these ones do wear pretty quickly from what I've seen. So yeah, overall it looks alright. I would definitely like to see the car. I think it looks great. And okay, so about the rear spoiler here, the funny thing, look at the body, everything is perfect except the front lip has a big scratch on the very bottom of it, probably has bottomed out and scuffed the bottom. The other thing, U3, is large dents here and here. I wonder what those are from. Oh, I see, it's from downforce. And so there's so much downforce on the car that it has dented the trunk in the stands for the spoiler. And that's the funny thing about aftermarket spoilers, is most of the kits, especially universal ones like this one looks like, they're not made to give you proper downforce, they're just there for looks. And if it is giving you downforce, it's going to crush your trunk if it's not installed properly. So, very funny. As for the price on this, SpecRs usually sell for anywhere between about $700,000 to about $1.6 million. This one here, I'm going to guess 1 million yen on this one. So thank you, Sean, for that one. Next one, Grant Glaze. And Grant sent in about 7 picks, and all of them were K cars. So very cool. I picked one that we haven't done before, even though there were some really cool ones he sent in, but ones that we've already talked about in the past. This one here we haven't, and this is a second generation Suzuki Alto Lapin, which I guess Lapin is French for rabbit. And it kind of looks like the original rabbits are the Golf Mark 1. This one being the second generation, less so than the first generation, but it is kind of the same deal. Front engine, front wheel drive. You can get them with a 5-speed manual and turbocharged 660cc engine. This one here, that one's the Lapin SS is the fast one. This one here I don't know. And so we have automatic transmission, only 20,000 kilometers, so pretty low. 660cc engine. Oh, and this one here is called the Alto Lapin Chocolat, which of course is French for chocolate, which they translated to Lapin chocolate. And it sounds cooler in French, I imagine. If I could pronounce French better, then I would give you a very ear-pleasing rendition of Lapin Chocolat. And instead I just sound kind of like an idiot. Anyways, 2014 and auction grade 3.5, interior B, exterior C. First time at auction, comes with navigation system. Funny that it's called the trim level of this is called the chocolate or chocolat in Japanese. I don't really know what that is. It doesn't look anything like chocolate to me, unless you spray paint your chocolate teal and white and mold it into the shape of a car. Can't understand. There's no interior picture, sadly, from this auction. Exterior has shallow scratches. Console has some scratches on it. Door card's scratched. Seat is dirty, and mirror is scratched. Door mirrors. Looks like the body has several medium scratches. Big one on the back here, that's an A4, and a couple of, or at least one medium-sized dent here. And let's see, this is a 2014. Price of this one, I mean, it's new. It has relatively low kilometers. It's going to have a lot of life left in it. These are reliable engines, and kind of cool looks. I like it. I prefer the looks of the first generation, and they do sell for less than these ones. I'm gonna guess 450,000 yen on this one. Okay, thank you, Grant, for that one. Next one, Zachary Konopa, also a returning champion here, found quite an awesome car here. And so he says, a Nissan Rasheen trying to play Hummer. And so who doesn't want to play Hummer? Whatever that means. But so the Nissan Rasheen is usually a front-wheel drive, 1.5, okay. 1.5 liter. Boxy, weird, retro-styled-ish car. Love the plaid or tartan seats, however you want to call that. But they put on probably the ghettoest body kit that I've ever seen, because it doesn't look like it fits on there properly, especially with the really long hood compared to a Hummer's actual hood is fairly short. It does look really goofy, but I did mention in a video recently on the channel, the Daihatsu Naked, I said that some people change them to look like Hummers. It actually looks a lot like a Hummer on the Naked. These ones less so, but maybe it was on Zach's mind thinking about the Naked Hummer, which is probably the best combination of words on a car that you can possibly get. But it has a Hummer hood piece, and Hummer hood pieces, and Hummer grill piece, and bumper piece. And so now you drive a Hummer. And this car is approximately the size of a current, kind of like a Toyota Matrix-ish size in terms of wheelbase, but it's narrower and shorter by far. So yeah, it is awkwardly proportioned, to be honest. The interior looks to be clean. Let's see condition. 1996 Rasheen Type 1, auction grade 3.5, interior and exterior B, 88,651 kilometers on here, automatic transmission, automatic AC. Ooh, lovely, engine doesn't work very well. Underside surface rust and corrosion. Left front pillar has been painted. Oil leak, front bumper underside scratched, and body doesn't look that good. It has some rust on the back here. The S means rust. Doesn't look that good. Not going to sell for a lot. I wonder if they put the Hummer front end on there before or after the engine broke. Like, my car is already pretty bad. You know, it doesn't hurt to make it a little bit worse. Front bumper, front grille, rear bumper. Oh yeah. Hummer type aero parts. Oh man. Okay, so I think broken engine requires an engine swap. I think this one's only going to go for about 60,000 yen. Okay, on to the next one from Enzo. Oh my gosh, how do I pronounce this? Dominguez Galveo. I'm sorry, Enzo. Your first name is very easy to pronounce. Hopefully I got that right. And he says Skyline R34 RB25 manual coupe or coupe with all the Nismo body parts and grade 3.5. Maybe ends up for a cheap price. So let's have a look. This one comes with the best spoiler ever from a stock car. And by that I mean the worst spoiler ever. It's about as high as the roof of the car. And then it comes in multiple parts. So it has the one part here, and then the two stands, and it's separate so that you can open the trunk. Now usually spoilers will come over and maybe come down like the Nissan Skyline GTR's spoiler does, but it doesn't actually connect at the bottom here. But this one does, because the trunk only, the trunk comes down to where the tail light is. I think that this spoiler is horrendous, and if I had it on my car, I would take it off, or I would take off about half of it. And I can't decide which one I would like better. Either take off these two bits here and just have a regular table spoiler, or take off this part here and have devil horns in the back of your car and then get a license plate that says 666 and then drive around everywhere with noisy exhaust revving your engine. And I think that would be pretty cool. Other than the spoiler, I think that this aero kit looks really good, and you can get it without this spoiler too. So you can get it, and in fact, I think I've seen more with just this body kit than ones with the body kit and the spoiler. And so front bumper here is the Nismo one, has the extra vents in here. The black piece here is original. Looks like the car in front of it was a modified car. It's all black here. Headlights are nice and clean. Nice side skirt here. It's funny, this body kit is not that aggressive, but that spoiler sure is. The interior looks standard fare, and let's go over condition here. So 1998 Skyline 25 GT Turbo, and this is the Neo version, so 280 horsepower on this one. Auction grade 3.5, interior C, exterior C, not that good, I guess. 108,027 kilometers, 5-speed manual, Kakimoto exhaust, Blitz air filter, Tane adjustable suspension, xenon headlights, WEDS 18-inch wheels, and aero parts. Altia. I don't know why they say aero parts Altia on here. But usually they call this the Nismo Aero Kit. Sellers do, at least. I don't know if that's the official name of it. Probably is. Aftermarket Navi with digital TV. Aftermarket seat for the driver. Have a look. Oh, weird. Huh. Not an aftermarket seat I recognize. In fact, it does look like a Skyline GTR seat that... no, it doesn't. I don't know. It's weird. Pillar gauges, because everybody loves those. Extra gauges up here. Those are standard on this car, or an option on them. 92,551 kilometers. The timing belt was changed. Condition of it here: steering wheel wear, seat stained and ripped, wheels scratched, scuffs on the wheels. No, various scratches, dents, and scuffs. Wheels scratched, underside surface rust. The body actually doesn't look that bad. I wonder why it got a C interior or C exterior. C interior makes sense with the ripped seat, and I don't know why this is, but aftermarket seats tend to rip really quickly compared to regular seats, so in my mind it's usually not worth it to get an aftermarket seat unless you're doing so to preserve your original seat, because original seats these days, for some cars that they're rare to find, can sell for more than the aftermarket seats would. Like an R32 GTR, for example, is like that, and I'm sure the R34s are going to get like that soon. Someone's at the door. We don't have a soundproof studio here. I'm sorry. Okay, so paint is cracked on the front bumper and some paint marks on the front bumper there. Otherwise, really no damage there. And some paint marks on the rear bumper. So body looks good to me. And Enzo says maybe it will end up for a cheap price. Not really anymore. These R34s used to be a fairly reasonable price, but they're going up in value because, like the S15, they're one of the last good Nissan cars from the 90s, and they're easy to buy. There are plenty of them, and a lot of people want them so that they can keep them in good condition, because the Skyline after this is a completely different market segment. It's the G35 Infinity in America, and they didn't have a performance version, even though the stock one was, I guess, not that bad, but nothing compared to the Skylines of the past. Okay, so price on this one, I'm going to guess 1.2 million on that. Next one, Bill Courtney, the guy that says Sean loves rust. And you sent this in, as well as Perry Chapel, which I believe, or Chapel, which I believe is your first time sending one in, so thank you for you. And thank you for sending Nissan Sunny trucks, because I love these. This one's a little bit weird. It's in complete stock condition right down to the wheels, the metal visors, the tail lights, and the square headlights. So usually these are heavily modified cars these days. They put on wide, small wheels, like a 14-inch by 7-inch wide wheel, fender flares, chin spoiler. Everybody loves the round headlights from the old models, so they swap those ones in. And yet this one has aftermarket seats. So kind of weird and typical of aftermarket seats. They're ripped up and taped up. And so the Sunny truck, I've only ever sat in one with aftermarket seats. And I think I've sat in like 3 of them, maybe. We don't actually sell that many of them, to be honest, because they're really hard to buy, because rust is a huge problem on them. I'd like to try sitting in one with regular seats in it, because I don't like aftermarket seats, like I already mentioned. And furthermore, it's a very small cabin in this, and I find that aftermarket seats generally don't have as much flexibility in positioning themselves in exactly the seating position that I want. So I think that the original ones might be interesting to sit in to see how it feels to me. Okay, wooden steering wheel looks cool. And yeah, the condition of this one's pretty bad. It says engine room has surface rust and corrosion, underside surface rust and corrosion. So not something that I would recommend very much. The bed has corrosion, the back bumper has corrosion, and the bumper reinforcement has some damage from being hit. bed, various scratches and dents. Dashboard modified and part comes up, so it's like misaligned. A little bit hard to see in the picture. I don't know exactly where, but yeah. And then color change to white. I really don't like color change to cars. They often means trouble. Like a lot of people will buy a turd car, or I don't know how to better explain that, but a really bad car with terrible paint, and will do the cheapest paint job ever and then send it back to auction. And it's just, you know, hit and miss whether the paint job is good, but because having bad paint on the car is worse than having like the car before you painted it with low quality paint. Because of that, I don't even want to get into it. I'd rather find a car with original paint, to be honest. Low mileage, but this is a 5-digit odometer, so it could have rolled over. It's not going to sell for a lot, but these Sunny trucks are fairly expensive, as you can get a 1970s car, because these are basically 1970s cars, but a 1992 version of a 1970s car. So kind of unique in that respect. 1200cc and super slow, but engine swaps are pretty common, and modifying these engines is common. Okay, price, 220,000 yen is going to be my guess on that one. Thank you, Bill. Thank you, Perry. Next one, another one from Perry. This one came close to being the thumbnail because Evo 6s make people happy in a way that I can't explain. And telephone's ringing off the hook today. And so this one, basically, let's have a look. All original except the rear wing has been taken off. Pretty weird choice there, because I find that the rear wing increases the price on these because it's the original big wing car, the Evos and the Imprezas. And so, kind of a weird choice there, but I can see how somebody would love the car and hate the rear wing. Could be cool to drive around something like this. You definitely wouldn't get all the comments at the gas station from the bros driving the pickup trucks saying, you can fly with that car, you got a wing on the back, high five. And speaking of those kinds of trucks, the next one is one of those trucks, and so it's that guy that's going to ask you if you can fly. Mileage seems to be decently low, 80,000 kilometers, auction grade 4, interior B. Looks like it's in pretty good shape. And so, Recaro seats, these seats always do this. It has kind of like this checkerboard look to it, and then the checkerboard pieces fall off in the area here. It is a shame, but the seat tends to hold out pretty well other than that. Okay, has some uneven paint on the side here. That's probably the biggest problem with the car. Exterior has some paint fade, it also says. Oh, this one's been canceled. That's what this 777777 means. Now, of course, this one's going to be canceled, and so I can't really be accurate and guess how much it's going to sell for because we don't know. But if it were not canceled, then I think that this one will probably go for about 800,000 yen. All right, on to the next one. Joey, I'm so glad that you sent this one in. This is a V10 Dodge Ram, and then it's a 3500. And so this is the biggest consumer grade version of the Dodge Ram. So you have the dually back tires with the really wide rear end, V10 8-liter engine. And so that is unbelievable. And the fact that somebody wants to drive this in Japan just blows my mind, because I drive a small minivan, like much smaller than the Honda Odyssey is in the US or Canada, much smaller as in 20% smaller, and I still struggle sometimes with some of the roads. I couldn't imagine. These things are huge. I think like longer than 20 feet long. By quite a bit, I would imagine. Let's see. Oh, goody, the seller didn't say. This is lovely when it comes to buying these cars, because the shipping depends on the size of the car, and if you don't say how big it is, we don't know how much the shipping costs. Kind of annoying. Okay, so mileage is low, 35,723 miles on it. This is an imported car, so it's not in kilometers. Auction grade 4, interior B, exterior B, V10, 8-liter engine, leather seats. What's this? Gibson exhaust, aftermarket audio system. Comes with a number plate. Let's see what it's registered as. So a 100 series, that's a cargo vehicle. Funny thing about this, if it's registered as a cargo vehicle and we ship it to the USA, you have to pay 25% tax on it. But since this one is an original US car, I think that you can bring it in without paying that 25% tax. Regular tax in the US is 2.5%. Okay, so the condition, I guess the body could use a little bit of cleanup. They have a number of marks, small scratches, small dents everywhere, some paint damage on the roof. So it's been repainted and paint damage, so probably peeling paint. And some areas not glossy. Windshield has a 1 centimeter crack in it. Tail lens cracked, underside surface rust. I don't know what the market for these is in the USA, so I don't know if it's worth more in the US than it is in Japan. And so it's hard to tell if this is going to be worth it to buy it. And because these never come up for auction, I don't know what it's going to sell for. I don't have a history, and we don't have customers that are looking for these cars, and so that's how I usually get my price estimates. If it's a car like a Skyline that everybody wants, then it's easier for me to guess. Oh, this one's a 3. Oh, it was a built in Mexico one. Is that right? 1 is USA, 2 is Canada, 3 is Mexico. Is that right? I don't know. Maybe I'm wrong about that. Okay, so yeah, you can buy it. I've heard that there were problems with this engine, but I don't know very much about American cars, and so really the Googles is more fun and more accurate than listening to me about this. Price starts at 280. I don't know, maybe 650,000 yen? Maybe. I don't know. Don't feel confident about that. Okay, Raymond sent in this one. In fact, Raymond and Bill Courtney both sent this one in. And we have a bid on this one, I think, too, maybe. I don't know. Maybe we do? Don't know. We often have bids on these ones. They're very popular for import for the USA. This is a TownAce, also known as Light Ace, also known as Royal Saloon. And this one here is kind of the best model that you can get. So it has the super skylight roof. And so that's 6 sunroofs. Very cool. And comes with a diesel turbo engine and a 5-speed manual. And so combine those things together with the fact that it's 4-wheel drive with manual locking hubs on there. You can lift it up, you can put it on big tires, you get your 4-wheel drive with the 5-speed in the diesel, and you get it in something other than a pickup truck, and they end up costing about 1/3 the cost of typical Hilux pickup trucks, or something similar to that, much less than a Land Cruiser as well. Of course, they are a different vehicle than those. They're not as tough, but you can carry more people, so that's cool. They come in 7 and 8 seaters. Very strange seats in the 8-seater because they have one right next to the door here that looks like the seats on an ambulance for like the support paramedic that's next to the bed that's inside. And it has a tiny little seat belt, and it's literally like 1 square foot of cushion that has completely no like molding in it. Like what I mean is the regular seats have kind of like a dip in the middle and it comes out further on the edge. This one's completely flat, so really weird. Selectable gear range, so you can select rear-wheel drive, 4-wheel drive, or 4-wheel drive low, and they're great vehicles. Head gaskets have a tendency to fail on them, so not really. Let me explain this. The head gaskets they tend to blow first because it's an aluminum head engine and it's a diesel with high pressure, but they only blow when the engine overheats, and under regular operating conditions, the engines don't overheat and they're fairly reliable. Now that being said, you have to drive them in a specific way, and it's a low-powered engine, only 2-liter turbo diesel, puts out like 76 horsepower or something like that. And then if you're going to be driving up the mountains of Colorado, most people are going to step on it and floor it all the way up that mountain, and that's too much stress for this little engine that wasn't designed to take that sort of a punishment. And so what you should do if you buy one of these is change the radiator fluid on them, make sure that you clean out that radiator and flush it so that there is no problems with it, change the thermostat, and you're basically good to go. But watch that meter, especially on hot days when you're going up hills or flooring it for a very long amount of time. The speed limits in the US are much higher than they are here in Japan, and so something like this wouldn't be an issue here in most cases. And most mountains here are not the same as they are in the States. They're kind of smaller mountains with curvy roads that go up that you have to slow down for the corners anyway. It's not this 14 kilometers in a row of just going straight up a mountain. Okay, so that being said, I'm guessing this one's going to sell for about 500,000 yen, which is a higher price now than it used to be in the past, but prices for those are going up as more and more people are getting into them, and it is the best version of it. Okay, on to the next one from Bill Courtney. You're famous this week. Bill Courtney sent in a Suzuki Jimny. And he says, oh, am I doing the right one here? Here it is. Okay, so Bill Courtney says the driver is wearing camo pants. Coincidence? And I think that's really funny because this is like an army vehicle. The driver's wearing the camo pants. Kind of funny because, for one, who wears camo pants these days other than people in the military? I actually asked Andrew, I was like, hey, have you ever worn camo pants? And he was like, yeah, in the military. Because, you know, he used to be in the military. And I've never worn a pair of camo pants in my life. They were really popular when I was in high school, but I don't know. I just, yeah, did not go with the camo pants myself. Okay, this one has no roof. If you buy this, it's going to be rained on, maybe. So the way that we do it is different from most exporters. We bring the vehicle into our lot, and then we send it over to the port. That way we can put on the roof properly. If you send this one just to the port, it's going to sit out in the rain. The port will put on some sort of plastic sheet onto there if you want, and it's, in my experience, it's not put on very well and needs to be redone before it can be shipped. And so keep that in mind. Or you can buy a new top for this and put it on. And the convertible ones sell for a good amount more than the regular ones. This one here is an old one, 1981. SJ30, and it's the old K car size. That's the alarm going off for the USS bidding. I thought Andrew just left, so I got a little bit worried there. I don't know if you could hear that. It goes do 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 when your car is only 5 cars away or something. Okay, so an older generation version of the Jimny, also known as the Samurai, has cool headlight covers, painted army green. That's the original color. That's cool. 5-digit odometer, small engine. This one no turbo, and so probably only like 3 horsepower in it or something. Not really. I don't know. Let's see, a 530cc non-turbo 3-cylinder engine. You probably get somewhere in the range of 20 to 24 horsepower out of that. Okay, auction grade R, interior C, 5-digit odometer, it says here. Oh, wow. Oh, okay. This says it's a 2-cycle engine. I've heard that they made Jimnys with 2-cycle engines, but I've never actually seen one at auction. This is a big deal because a 2-cycle engine, of course, is the engine that they use in old motorcycles. They don't use them in the States anymore because they pollute a lot. Instead of a regular 4-cycle engine, the 2-cycle engine, for each revolution of the crankshaft, actuates the pistons twice instead of 4 times. And so what that means is you're getting twice the combustion compared to a 4-cylinder, and so you get more power per displacement. The downside, though, is that they consume oil as part of the process of running. You probably know, like, for example, like a lawnmower that you might have used to mow your lawn. You have to put oil in there that gets consumed, or mix the oil with the gas or something. So the same thing with the 2-stroke engine, and that's how it lubricates itself. So do be careful about that. But very cool. They're very, very noisy and buzzy engines, and the fact that we can find one at auction it just blows my mind. This is really cool. I imagine it's going to sell for a good amount more than the regular 4-cycle versions. Too bad it is canceled. Auction grade R. Corrosion holes in the back. Corrosion holes, various, and cracks in the... It doesn't say in why. It says various surface rust, corrosion holes, and cracks. But the cracks are caused by the corrosion. So it looks like it needs a full restoration, but ooh, that engine. I think it would be fun to buy this, go off-roading in it, and then sell it back at auction and see if you can get roughly what you paid for it out of it. And you get the army green, you can wear the army pants. I would buy army pants if I bought this car, just so that I can rock around in this with my buzzy 2-cycle engine and cool mirrors here. I bet those vibrate a lot while driving. Wow, cool. Okay, price, of course, it is canceled, so we're not going to find out, but not good condition, fairly rare, not good condition. Oh, maybe we can go with a guess of about 300,000 yen on this one. And on to our very last one here from Raymond Yu. And I picked this one because I currently own one of these, because I'm a straight baller, but mine doesn't work. And so it's just parked in the lot. You probably have seen it. It's parked on the side. A lot of people have been asking me to explain what's happening with those cars. And I guess I'll explain what happened with this one. We had a customer. So this one here is called an S500 Coupe. But there's also an S500. So the S500 is the S-Class and comes with 4 doors. And then Mercedes-Benz made a 2-door version of their S-Class, which is called the S500 Coupe. And then it changed names to CL later on. And so we had a customer asking for a translation of 2 cars. One was an S500 and one was an S500 Coupe. And then they said, oh, I want to bid on the S500, this amount of yen. And then when we get the bids, we usually ask people to tell us the name of the car and give us the link and everything. But if they don't do that, then we scroll down in the email and see what the last translation was. Scroll down, it says, oh, S500. Probably think that person was just calling this the S500 when they meant the S500 Coupe, and then set the bid on the wrong car. And so we bid on the Coupe version when they wanted to bid on the 4-door version. And we ended up winning the car, and so the car came into our lot. Unfortunately, it wasn't a very good condition car. It said on the auction sheet that the power steering is broken, and I asked a dealer how much it costs to repair the power steering, and they said it's about $2,000. And we had bought the car for somewhere around $1,000, and so the value of it was probably not going to be made up by replacing the power steering. And so I do what I do with every decision that I don't know what to do. I just leave it and see if it goes away. And so that's what's happened with this one. So anyways, going back to this specific model, is a 1993 S-Class Coupe, or Coupe. In Japanese, it would be Coupe. S500, octane 4, interior grade B, 49,288 kilometers is really low for these. Not a lot of people want these because they're heavy and they're thirsty and they're known to have electronic problems, and they're expensive to maintain. Compared to other cars, but that means the price is low, so you can get one for a really good price. Like in Japan, these were, I think, $160,000 when they came out, and now they're like $2,000, $3,000, $4,000, $5,000. So, I mean, you get them for a lot cheaper. It is cool to drive a car that somebody paid half the price of a house to own. And so you can get them with a 5-liter V12 or a 6-liter V12, and I don't think they came with the 7, but they might have in a very special model. I think that was just the SL that came with the 7 and the 7.3s. Okay, so auction look, the inspection here shows nothing. That means a pretty good car. It says seat wear, wheels scratched, door mirrors scratched, window rock chip, interior dirty. U2 here, that's kind of too bad on these. They're made out of really heavy duty metal, and fairly good paint, so they tend to stay in good condition over time. But this one has a U2 right there. Original wheels, that's a plus if we're looking at a high price car. They put a S600 badge on the back by the looks of it. And has an old style plate, and so it's been registered for at least 15 years by the same owner. Okay, so price, and this is the last one. Let's see if I get this right. 480,000 yen. 480,000 yen on this one. And that wraps it up. So thank you for another video. Thank you for making it all the way to, almost 40-minute long video. Oh my gosh. Okay, I don't know if you guys can stand my voice for that much longer next week, so I'll try to make it a little bit shorter next week. But thank you for watching. Make sure that you like Facebook so you can see the post. If you are not participating in this, please do. It's a lot of fun to look through the auctions and then pick cars that we can talk about. And of course, if you want to buy any of the cars, you can. Make sure that you let us know ahead of time to send in the security deposit for that. So thank you very much, and we'll see you again next week.